Welcome back. My name is Teresa and I'm very much alive. I have an awful garbage filthy mouth where sometimes, just sometimes, I tend to use the word fuck as a comma. I know it's disgusting. If you live in an apartment building and have neighbors, make sure you crank this up real loud. They'll appreciate it. If you're not into weird stuff in general, this is not the place for you, baby. Feel free to X out the video here. No harm, no foul. But I'll remember our time fondly. Y'all, I am so excited to do this video. Maybe it's because I'm going to be 35 in 2 months. Oh my God, my life is flashing before my very eyes. But I really have been obsessed with a lot of boring, basic, neutral palettes. It's my bread and butter these days, okay? And I'm so excited to do this video because I get to talk about even more boring products that I hope that you guys would be interested in checking out because I think they're fabulous. And I'm so excited to do this video because I have found another arsenal of palettes that are so deliciously boring and basic that I am just obsessed, and I want to share it with y'all. Now this is going to be the part 2 to my favorite basic bitch palettes. The first one I did in collaboration with the wonderful Lacey from Spooky Lips and Fat Hips. So if you want to see the first video in this series, I'll link it up in the corner. And without further ado, here is my list of basic ass bitch palettes that I fucking love. The first one I want to talk about, you are so good. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Your brothers and sisters suck, but you're fabulous. This is the Urban Decay Honey Naked palette. I don't know what happened to Urban Decay, y'all. I don't know. And I'm not gonna discuss what is going on with them because they just, when did I become Southern? I don't know what's going on with them. They're weird. But this is a fucking staple. I love this boring ass palette. And I have a review of this palette, so if you do wanna check it out, I'll leave it up in the corner, or at the very least, just watch it for the story time. I don't care what you do, I'm not your mother. When this was first announced, I was initially sad. I was one of those idiots that was like, honey is yellow, not amber. Whatever. However, honey is more amber, not yellow, so I'm just gonna shut the fuck up on that one. This palette is the most basic, best thing I have ever seen. It just gives me the vipers. Again, I don't know who I am. This palette is the best basic thing Urban Decay has done in about 2 years. And if the quality of their other palettes was like this palette, maybe the brand wouldn't suck so bad. For the most part, this is a basic ass color story with a few pops of color, but it gets overshadowed by the sheer perfect basicness of it. This is a great everyday palette. I know I'm a colorful bitch, but sometimes I just want to be my namesake, and that's Anne. Boring fucking Anne. Both the mattes and the shimmers in this palette are wonderful, and it's the kind of palette that is great for work, or if you want to throw together a very quick basic look and achieve something beautifully motherfucking basic. This is awesome. The next palette I want to talk about, girl. This is from Sydney Grace. And this is the Enduring Love palette. I love this palette. It's actually what I'm currently wearing on my eyes today. This is your basic cool tone dream palette. Of course, it's a little bit messy, so we're just gonna kind of keep her like this. She is basic, but she's everything. If you have never tried Sydney Grace before, do yourself a favor and go check out this brand. It's one of the best indie eyeshadows that I have ever tried. Their quality is fantastic. From their mattes to the shimmers, everything is just perfect. Yes, it's a beautiful neutral palette with that pop of blue. There's nothing really exciting about this palette except that it is a cool tone color story, which is very rare, I feel like, these days. Now, what makes this a standout palette for me is that there's 2 different versions of it. So I actually have the version that's meant for lighter skin, but they also have a version that's meant for deeper skin. And essentially, it's the same palette with the exception of the transition shades. While this, again, caters towards someone that has lighter skin, the other palette caters towards someone that has a deeper skin, which is really cool. Is it revolutionary? No, because there are definitely other brands that have that sort of feature, but this is done motherfucking right, okay? I know in the past when I talked about this palette, a lot of people were like, Huda Beauty. Fuck Huda Beauty, okay? I do not like the quality of their eyeshadows. This is fantastic. Yes, she's at a steep price point, but it's worth every penny. The pigmentation, the longevity, the blendability of this palette is beyond awesome. And it's so easy to use. You don't have to jump through hoops to create a look. This does the work for you. And for that very reason, this is one of my favorite basic bitches of all time. Love her. The next palettes I want to talk about are from E.l.f. and these are the bite-sized palettes. I actually have a couple of them in front of me. So the first one is the Cream and Sugar, the Truffles palette, as well as the Pumpkin Pie palette. Yo, fuck me up. okay? I love these stupid ass mini palettes. I think they're fantastic. They're so good. Buy these, you will not regret it. For a $3 price point, they are fucking fantastic. Now, I picked these up because somebody recommended it to me in the comments to actually start with the jalapeno palette, which is one of the best green palettes I have ever played with. So I highly, highly recommend that one. But because I loved it so much, I decided to go purchase some others from the same line. And honestly, it's the best decision I've ever made. So thank you to that one person that mentioned it to me. Thank you so much, because it's an absolute shame that the quality in these guys can run circles around palettes that I have that literally cost 20 times the price of this and then some. I've always shied away from drugstore eyeshadow because I've never found anything that worked for me that well. With the exception of the Maybelline New York Nudes palette, oh my god, so good, and the Profusion $5 palettes. This is fucking amazing. There are nothing exciting about these palettes. These palettes are basically like just a good staple piece to have. And I think in my previous video talking about my favorite basic bitch palettes, I referenced how a palette is very much like period jeans, except in this more updated case, these palettes is like the quarantine sweatpants that have now turned into leggings. Because not only are you panic buying makeup, but you're panic eating Totino's pizza rolls. Hashtag non-spawn. If you want something easy and dependable, look no further. Fucking check these out. They're fantastic. Do not sleep on them. The next palette I want to talk about is from Menagerie Cosmetics, and this is the Killer palette. I purchased this palette when it came out, and I just didn't have the time to make a review on the palette, which is a shame because it's actually my favorite Menagerie Cosmetics palette. I love Menagerie's color stories. They're usually very colorful and just full of life. They are the kind of color stories that make the world a little more magical. However, this one, not so much. She is boring. She's very fucking boring. It's a nice mix of warm and cool neutral shades, and to me, this is what the Natasha Denona Safari palette should have looked like, instead of whatever that fucking nightmare was. The formula of this palette is incredibly pigmented, and it carries a lot of kick up and fallout. Now, my favorite in this palette are the mattes, because of how they blend and how incredibly easy they are to use. Now, the shimmer formula is nice, but it's not my favorite. There is a little bit of chunky bits there, but I find that it works best with some glitter glue. Also, sorry that my lighting is kind of a little funky right now. It looks like it's making the palette a little bit darker than what it than what it looks like here. Before I started using glitter glue, I was one of those people that used setting spray, and setting spray and this palette just do not mix. It causes that spicy butthole effect, not fun. So definitely use glitter glue, or at the very least, just use some water to saturate the brush. When I used to go into the office, you know, before we started living in a fucking Stephen King novel, this was my go-to palette. I always felt like a fierce ass bitch when wearing it. Something about a good mustardy brown color story gets me weak in the knees. This is amazing. The next palette I want to talk about, I feel like I talk about this palette so much. It's from Maybelline, and this is the Nudes of New York palette. I fucking love this palette. I feel like I've talked about this palette so many times, and it's because I'm just so in love with it. There's nothing unique or cool about this color story. She's boring. She's basic. This is the way more affordable dupe to the Too Faced Born This Way palette. If you're thinking about getting the Too Faced palette, don't waste your coin. Just get this one. I feel like this is always on sale. Just get it. This little unassuming palette has great pigmentation, great wear time, and the blendability is perfection. I'm genuinely surprised how much I use this palette, and it has been my go-to since being at home. And my favorite thing to do is when I use this palette, just to jazz it up, to put my spin on it, I add a little color to the waterline, and it brings the boring assness to life. It's so good. Seriously, another palette, do not sleep on it. It's fucking great and super affordable, so we love her. The next palette I want to talk about, and honestly I feel like a fucking clown even mentioning it, is the BH Sweet Chape Sugar Cone palette. Pumpkin, I don't know who I am anymore. This palette is so dumb good. It's so dumb good. It's ridiculous. I recently talked about this palette in my last fun size review video, and this is just literal perfection. The formula is so awesome. It's another affordable option that is just so easy to use. It's buttery, it's blendable. This shit does the work for you. And honestly, at the end of the day, we just want something that does the work for us. I don't need to waste my time jerking off a palette. Anyway, I have tried other BH palettes, but there's something beautiful about this palette as well as the green one, which, oh my god, that green one's so good. I'm obsessed, and now I need to have the rest of them. The quality on these particular palettes are fucking amazing. Don't sleep on it. It's available, I believe, on the BH website as well as Ulta. Use your points, don't use your points. Who cares? $18 is totally worth the price tag. So good. And again, another palette that just outperforms a lot of my higher end stuff. Love that for me. The last palette I want to talk about, it's from Dominique Cosmetics. Oh my God, y'all. This is the Latte palette. I picked this palette up during one of the Sephora VIB sales, and it's hands down one of my favorite purchases I've ever made. The quality is so awesome. And again, it's one of those palettes that does the work for you. It's literally impossible to fuck up your eye look when using this palette. This is yet another staple basic palette. The color story is nothing special, and I actually almost fall asleep when looking at it. This palette is like the girl in every 80s movie where she just wants to be noticed by her best guy friend, and instead she gets ignored for most of the movie until the very end when her best guy friend realizes that love was there the whole time. It was her. That's what this palette is. If you're looking to try anything from this brand, I highly recommend checking this palette out. Now, there is a version 2 of this palette, but it's nothing like the original. Think of it like the shitty remake aimed at kids today. It's just a waste of time. And in the words of Sydney Prescott, don't fuck with the original. And those are my basic ass bitch palettes. Now, this is the fun part of the video where I rate them and have a nervous breakdown. I'm a Libra. I change my mind a lot. I panic and freak out, especially when I have to rate something. I know there's a lot of YouTube videos that talk about rating specific things, and they give me so much anxiety. Because I'm a Libra and I want everything to be number one. Okay, we all get ribbons. That's how I feel. So I'm going to do my best right now. 1, not to cry, and 2, just rate them quickly. Because if I think about it too much, they're all gonna be number 1. And then that defeats the purpose of everything. Yay, go me. All right. Okay. I got this. I got this. We got this, right? Right, Chub Chub? We got this. Okay, number 7. Dominique Cosmetics. I love you. I think you're great. It's not you, it's me. No, this is a really awesome palette. Like I mentioned before, it's really good, but I feel like I reach for the other palettes more than this one, but this one's solid. She's solid. We love her. We love you. You're doing so good, sweetie. Okay, next. Number 6. Okay, well, I mean, I could do this one. Oh my God, bitch. Okay, so number 6 is going to go to e.l.f. And the only reason why it's going to e.l.f. is because as much as I appreciate these little tiny bite-sized palettes, you kind of need a bunch of them, I feel like, in order to do your look. Technically, you don't really, like, you can just work off of a block of 4, but I'm extra as fuck and I'm a Libra. Did I mention that? Anyway, I need a lot of options. I'm a bitch that loves options, okay? I love amenities and I love options, and I need more than just one palette. So kind of just based on that, because I love my rationale because it makes no sense, we're gonna call this number 6. But still, she's great. We love her. We think she's fantastic, and she's going to make someone happy for sure. We love you, e.l.f. Bye. Okay, I feel like this is The Bachelor where I should just be giving roses out. Okay. All right, so number 5. 5, we're gonna go with BH Cosmetics. The formula, fantastic. We love her. We think she's fabulous. Look at her, she's a fucking ice cream cone. I know I talked a lot of shit about food palettes, and here I am literally promoting food palettes. What can I say? I go back on my word. Okay, like, haven't you noticed that here? All right, we love her. She's great, but I think I like the other palettes a little bit more, but the formula is so fantastic. If you find yourself ever seeing the pistachio one available, you don't even think about it. Just click in my cart. That's it. Don't even think about it. You will thank me later. Trust me. Trust me. Okay. Bye. Okay. Number 4. I love this palette, and for a while there I was really like hating on Urban Decay, and I don't want to hate on Urban Decay because I remember when growing up, Urban Decay was a big deal, and I was like, oh my God, this is fantastic. And I don't know if it's because the quality has always been like that and now I'm just enjoying different things later in life, or their quality has gone down. I feel like I have loved their naked palettes in the past. The last few releases that have come out have been awful. I've pretty much sent all of them back with the exception of one that I was like, why did I even have this? And I just wound up decluttering it. This is like the beacon of hope and love and light in the world. And I'm so mad that they haven't really used this formula for other palettes. Like, I just feel like everything else has just been a wash. This is a great palette. And if you ever find yourself seeing this available, it's amazing. You will not regret it. I know it's been on sale a lot lately. Just wait for it to go on sale. It's so fucking, it's so good. So good. We love her. But bye, baby. Bye. I'm gonna miss you. Number 3 is Menagerie Cosmetics. I love Menagerie Cosmetics. I say this time and time again. Like, I love the artwork. Everything about their palettes are just so beautifully crafted. And like I mentioned, I have quite a few of their releases, with the exception of the newer ones, which I believe is the Pastel Pup. Just didn't really interest me that much. And I think there's like an octopus one that was all purples. Again, I'm not a big purple boy, so that's why I didn't get it. But this is so fucking good. Before I had to work from home permanently, this was like my go-to thing in the morning because I always just felt like a powerful, fierce bitch in the conference room, just yelling at actually, I never yell at my job. I just more like go, I mask everything with humor. Gotta love that for me. This is a really good palette and I look forward to their future releases. I adore them. Oh my God, okay. Number 2. Maybelline. Yo, I know, I feel like I keep talking about this one, but I think it surprises me. It surprises me so much because I never thought drugstore could be this good. And I hate that was my kind of mentality about it. But this palette is so perfect. The quality is, like I mentioned, it runs laps around other fucking palettes that I have that are like 5 times the price of this. This is so fucking good. And it's, again, like a staple piece. Like, yes, you probably have all these colors in your collection, but it's a beautiful, boring ass color story. It gets the job done. And it's one of those palettes that you don't have to think about. You could just create a look and be on your merry way and know for a fact that you look fabulous. This is fucking awesome. And you're my number 2. Eskimo Kiss. Okay, we love her. That wasn't creepy. Okay, my number 1 basic bitch is Sydney Grace. I really, really like Sydney Grace's eyeshadow quality. Y'all, this is so good. This is so good. When this palette came out, I was like, okay, like, yeah, she's pretty. Okay, cool, whatever. When I got into my hands and I got to play with some of the metallics in here, hold on, I'll show you. Don't mind her, she's a little messy. And it's actually what I currently have on my eyes today, by the way. These metallics are bananas, okay? Fucking bananas. I can't even handle it. I literally want to just bathe myself in that color. I want to look like a shiny sex robot, all right? The quality of this palette is just so good. It's so smooth. It's incredibly pigmented. The longevity is fucking perfect. I love this palette. The reason why for me it's a number 1, because as you can see, I have a lot of warm tone palettes, and it's very rare that you find a really beautiful, cool tone color story. And this is your girl right here. She's just so perfect. If you have been interested in trying Sydney Grace, highly, highly, highly recommend getting that palette. It's fantastic. Okay. Anyway, let me know down below, what are your favorite basic ass bitch palettes? I would love to know, and maybe I'll try some of them out. I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button, it's free, and hit that bell icon for notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, Patreon, and to my beautiful, lovely, adorably perfect little creatures, I love your faces. Thank you so much for keeping this garbage boat afloat, and I couldn't do it without you. When this is all over, I can't wait to hug and love up on your faces. You're gonna have a restraining order against me. I can feel it, but it'll be worth it. If you want to know what is currently on my face, along with where you can get all these palettes, as well as a link to my podcast, Dead and Bored with my husband Paul Giamatti, everything will be listed in the description box below. Keep staying safe, keep washing your hands, keep wearing a mask, keep fighting that good fight, and just be kind to each other. And I'll see you little pumpkins later. Bye.